cheated with her ex. Now I might lose my kids.
Wife and kids, the worst double duo ever.
I, male 52, lost my first wife 10 years ago. At the time, I had 2 daughters, now 21 and 24. Life went on. After about 3 years, I met my current wife, female 38. Met innocently enough. Basically kept bumping into her at various places around town. Never really talked. Sometimes made eye contact. We would point at each other at a distance and just smile. Then one day, getting my car worked on, she walked into the waiting room while hers was worked on also. So we finally had a long conversation. We went across the street to get real coffee as the service centers was bad. We talked about an hour, then I was paged. Mine was done. I asked if she would like to do lunch one day to continue talking. We exchanged numbers and set a day to meet up. By the way, this comes from What About the Kids? And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. We dated 2 years, then married. She has 2 boys now, 10 and 14. They moved into my house. She's been living with her parents for 3 years. My girls love her. Not as a stepmom, but as a big sister. Although having another adult in the house with 2 teenage girls was a blessing. Life is grand. I love those boys as if they were my own. I want to adopt them when they can make a decision on their own. The little one calls me dad. The oldest, it was awkward. I told him to call me what he felt comfortable with. So my first name. The girls called her by her name. Wife is a stay-at-home mom. We decided until the kids were adjusted. Now she doesn't want to work, but does volunteer at school lunch and other things. Daughter 1 goes off to college, now graduated. The younger daughter graduated this past morning. We are moving the rest of her things this weekend. I was told her ex abandoned them about the time baby number 2 came along and has been no contact since. Her mom is very nice, but holds me at arm's length. He is an alpha dog. I don't think he wanted anyone else taking care of his daughter, only child, and grandkids. He would berate me because I was too old, not much younger than them. This would be any time I was around them. I'm non-confrontational, so I told wife I would just stay away from them. I did encourage her to continue the relationship as they only live a couple blocks away. February this year, her ex reappears, wants to be in their lives. He's sketchy at best. I cannot refuse this. He starts coming around often. I set a boundary that he comes on weekends so as not to interfere with school and so we can control his visitation somewhat. He comes most weekends but really spends little time alone with the kids as we try to give him space. I asked wife if he had made any child support payments while he was gone. I suggested to her to talk to him about getting caught up on whatever he owes and to ask about signing over rights so I could adopt. She said she would talk to him. First part of March, our spicy sleep life starts to dive. You know where this is going, right?
No.
But I'm oblivious. I mention it to wife. She has the usual excuses. I notice little things around the house are different. My favorite snacks are gone, missing a few adult sodas. Not a big drinker, just one every now and then. But the big one was I could smell what I thought was devil's lettuce.
Ooh.
I asked wife if she was smoking, as we don't. She hasn't. I thought the now 14-year-old was, suggested we talk with him, and she says she would handle it. About 2 weeks ago, the 14-year-old asks me if I love mom. I said yes, thinking he has a girlfriend. Time for a talk, right? He says that we always sat together and we were touching each other some way or other. This made him feel good. He asks if mom loved his dad. I responded that sure, on some level she does. Why asking? He replies that they are always looking at each other, talking and touching. And he is over all the time. I asked what he meant by all the time. Almost every day when they got home from school, he's there, then leaves. No. Yes, 14-year-olds ratting out the freaking scummy parents. No. He's like, you know what? I like my stepdad. This isn't okay. I'm going to be like, what's love? I'm just a 14-year-old. He's coming over. Like, 14-year-old absolutely knows what's going on. And I feel like he's playing kind of dumb to be like, I didn't know it was a secret. That weekend, I'm in the living room. He is over for visitation. He comes in and sits down across from me with an adult soda. I look up from my reading and tell him to help himself to an adult soda. He says nothing. I ask why he isn't with the kids. I could hear laughing coming from the family. He said he might go in a little bit. I tell him I will not drink in front of the kids. I wait until after they're in bed. He says nothing. He then states, you know, I'm only here for her. What does that mean? You're talking about my wife? He says technically not divorced. He never signed papers, so she's his wife. I know a judge judge signed off on the divorce because he could not be found. That's why it took longer to divorce. I finally asked about the child support since I never heard back. He just looked at me and said he was caught up. Paid her $15,000 in cash. WTF? I asked then if she talked to him about giving up rights. Never asked. He asked what it would be worth to me. I said, you gotta be kidding. You would sell your kids? Before he could answer, I told him to leave. The next day, this past Sunday, the kids were at Grandma and Grandpa with wife. I bought and installed a camera. I put it on top of the TV, very small. It has a view of the front door and living room, motion activated. So I'm at work. I get a notice, figure it's the wife cleaning up. I look anyways. He comes back. She lets him in. They kiss long. He starts grabbing at her. She playfully pushes away. They're laughing, no sound. He sits on the couch. She brings him an adult soda and snacks. 10 a.m. She disappears. She's back a few minutes later, clothes changed. She's going to school for lunch. They're talking, more grabbing, more pushing away, laughing. A few minutes later, she's up getting ready to leave. He gets up, grabs her again, making some gestures, then poses like he's praying, hands together. They sit down again, then she gives him spicy time. He finishes up, goes out of range, comes back, says something, then leaves. He then watches TV, then takes a nap. Screen eventually goes black.
Dude, oh my gosh. He's not even... This is the worst thing ever.
This sucks. A little after 1 p.m., another alert. She's home. They talk. They both leave the room. I know they're headed to the bedroom. I race home and find them. They never heard me coming. There is the hysterics you would expect. He slithers out. I tell her she has to go. She pleads it was a one-time mistake. He had just got there. She was lonely because we weren't having spicy sleep, etc. I called BS. I asked how often he came over. Just the weekends. This was an anomaly. I showed the video of him napping. She said he was tired and asked. Then I showed her the other spicy stuff. She had nothing to say. I told her to pack her bags. She's out. I left and called her dad to take them in. We were having issues. He, of course, takes alpha position, telling me how I would screw this up. Yada yada. I couldn't get a word in. Finally, I stopped him, asked again. He said yes, then started on me again. I had enough. I said I would send him something. I sent the video edited down to the spicy stuff. I told him to view and call me back if I was wrong. Never heard back. I talked to lawyer Thursday. He helped with estate plan after first wife, referred me to a partner who does family law. We'll meet Tuesday. Divorce will happen. He felt but did not know for sure that I would be on the hook for support for kids. No alimony since she broke our prenup. I made it up before marriage in addition to estate plan to protect my girls. I don't care about the support. Glad to do it. It's the boys. So my question or advice needed, has anyone else been through divorce and was able to see their ex's kids even if they're not yours? How did that go? The 14-year-old is partially vulnerable as he will be in high school next year, formative years. I don't want to see him go down the tube and turn out like dad. Thanks to all in advance. And there is an update. Got home Sunday, put daughter's stuff from apartment in garage. I get a call early evening from 14-year-old. Dad, what's going on? No one's talking to us. Mom and grandma are crying. Grandpa's yelling. Is this because of what I told you? I assured him that his mom made a bad mistake, that he had nothing to do with this mess. He asked if I was packing up their stuff because he saw the U-Haul in the driveway. I explained what happened and that all their stuff would remain there. Monday and Wednesday were sports night. Family sits in bleachers while I stand behind home plate backstop. My usual spot since I don't see eye to eye with father-in-law. On the way across the field, the oldest stops swarm up and runs over to me. We hug and talk a few minutes, then I send him back. As I get to my spot, I have a 10-year-old crash into me at full speed. I bend down, hug and kiss him all over as he is squirming away. My father-in-law asks if we could talk. We step away from earshot. He apologizes for the way he has treated me in the past and that he was wrong. Well, a little late, but I accepted and said I knew that it was a hard thing for him to do. He invited me to sit with them. I declined. He asked if I wanted to talk to wife. I said Thursday would be better, so we set time and place. Tuesday comes, meet with lawyer. I told him the whole story. He knew from his partner, but wanted to hear from me. He asked what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay with the boys, then stay married. The boys were most important. He stated in his experience that the marriage would be a charade and not good for the boys. We could work out a visitation if wife is willing. As far as support, he said I could do what I wanted for the boys, not to give her anything for me to control. The prenup was solid. She violated conditions, no support. He cautioned, though, that judges around the country have, in some instances, ordered child support in my case due to being in their lives so long. He did not think our judges had ruled that way in the past, but you never know. He was sure her attorney would seek support. He suggested that we try to agree on everything we could before court, then the judge would look favorably on us. Yeah, I think see if you can be in their lives before you try and before you stay married. Before leaving, he told me that every Monday morning, the partners meet to discuss new and ongoing cases. My previous attorney started out describing everything. Each partner has a specialty: estate planning, elder law, criminal, liability, family. Later in the PM, the criminal lawyer meets up with my attorney. After the meeting, he calls a contact in the prosecutor's office. The $15,000 did not seem right. How do folks in the middle class have $15,000 in cash laying around? Turns out X did not abandon them. He was in jail. He was released 3 years ago when feds were releasing nonviolent criminals to ease overcrowding, etc. He was sure the police would be interested if he was back and practicing his profession again, but he did not have any other info but the jail time. Thursday, I meet with wife and father-in-law. I asked if they minded if I recorded so there would be no misinterpretation later. They agreed. Before we started, wife wanted to talk privately. Father-in-law moved to another room. Wife started to apologize. I cut her off. I said, before you say anything, know that I know a lot more than you think. I asked how long the spicy sleep had been going on. She said the one time. I told her the video shows that's not true. I played a clip of her dusting the TV. She never saw the camera. I know it was only a few days, but she was going to lie, so I was too. She thought it was part of the video game. It's not big, but it is obvious on top of the TV. She admitted since March almost right away. I told her no more lie. I told her of the family secret, that he was in jail, not running away. She admitted to this also. I asked how long in contact since February. I asked if she met up any time before him appearing. She said no. I then told her he had been out for 3 years. We got father-in-law back in. Turn on recorder. I asked if she had a lawyer. No. Told her to get one because a divorce will happen. They both asked if something along reconciliation could take place. I said no. I said I wanted the boys. She could live with X. I told her when speaking privately that X tried to sell me the boys. I repeated for father-in-law. We settled on the boys could see me any time within reason. She would not keep them from me. I said I would provide at my choosing. She would get no support. I did not want her getting the boys to ask me for things. They would be honest if I asked. There you have it. One last thing. Redditors, the wife and I are avid readers of this site. We have our favorite subs. We would read and share. It was a thing we did together. She has read my post as she figured it out, and she read every reply you made. She stated you savaged her. I mean, come on, girl. Come on. You said many things I only wish I could have because I did feel it. For that, I thank you. I don't know, how do you go on Reddit and read all these stories and then you're like, well, I'm gonna do something that I've read about.
I told my husband that I don't want to work anymore.
You gotta work.
I am a 22-year-old woman and my husband a 23-year-old man. We met young, 17, started dating young, 20 to 21, and got married young, 22. I was aware that as a young couple, we would experience some financial struggle, especially in this economy. I was more than willing to go through that because I love my husband with all my heart and we make an awesome team. We've been married for about 2 months and I'll be honest, it's been a little difficult, but not for the reasons that everyone told me it would be. By the way, this comes from Bandicoot20, and if you want to spin your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. A little backstory on my husband. He came from a happy home where everyone is super close. His parents make a lot of money, enough that my mother-in-law doesn't have to work and hasn't worked in 20 years. She spends her days keeping the house tidy, cooking, running errands, and being a homemaker, which meant my husband and his siblings didn't do much around the house. They had chores, but never too many since mother-in-law liked things done a certain way. Mother-in-law also has mental health issues that translate into physical health issues, which is why she doesn't work. Side note, mother-in-law is an angel, and unlike some of the Reddit stories I've seen, I love her so much. My husband's goal is to someday make it so I don't have to work either, though I have no idea when or if that'll actually happen. I think he just got used to always having household things done for him. So he doesn't have certain habits he might have otherwise developed. So my husband also has ADHD, which makes it even harder for him to remember things like cleaning, taking or picking up his meds, and remembering things I tell him. I don't have ADHD, I don't think, but from what he's shared, he struggled with it for over 10 years, and I really do feel for him. I understand that a lot of this is out of his control, though I'll admit it's hard to fully put myself in his shoes. A little backstory is on me. Growing up, our family always struggled with money, and we all had complicated relationships with each other. That's another story. My parents probably tried to hide their struggles from me and my 2 siblings, but we could always tell. We weren't below the poverty line, but there wasn't much we could do. My parents were strict about chores, with designated dish days, laundry days, cook nights, trash days, etc. And missing a day meant yelling, passive-aggressive messages, and finger pointing. It was chaotic. But now that I'm older and living on my own, I'm grateful they taught me to always clean up after myself, and that sometimes it's more important to keep peace than to be right. I moved into our apartment first before we got married because of my less than favorable home situation. I've also been dealing with some serious mental and physical health issues, severe depression, anxiety disorder, and possibly other things that aren't officially diagnosed yet due to financial and insurance limits. I'm on medication and it's not the right one, and it seems to make things worse. On top of that, about a year ago, I was in a car accident that left me with a neck sprain, back sprain, and moderate concussion. I can't work out long or lift heavy things. Any migraines have gotten worse. I get dizzy spells multiple times a week. All of this plus working full time and keeping up the home has unbelievably been hard. So here's where the main problem comes into play. My husband helps out sometimes, but only when I ask him to. Like, I still have to remind him to take out the trash, load the dishwasher, fold his clothes, or clean up after himself. It's like I still have to carry the mental load of everything on my own, while he only helps out a little bit. I brought this up to him several times, but he just says he understands my frustrations, but sometimes his brain just won't let him do a lot of things, even if he really wants to, and that he just needs help remembering. So I need to remind him and ask for help, and he'll do it. But that's the thing. I feel like I shouldn't have to ask him all the time to do these things.
You shouldn't. He needs to figure out a way for him to remember to do these things. If that means like setting timers, making task lists. Like I think for me, I find a lot of times like checkbox lists are really helpful for me.
I get addicted to those checkbox lists.
I'm like check, yay! And I'm like I completed so much today, and those are really helpful. I don't usually find trouble like with motivating myself to clean, just because the motivation for me is like it's clean.
Yeah.
But other people I know with ADHD have that motivation issue, so it's finding ways to self-motivate rather than relying on someone else.
I suggested setting reminders on his phone or writing it on the fridge, but he said that he's tired of all of that before and it doesn't work for him. I told him insanely hard for me to keep up with every single thing in my crazy life, but his life too. He just keeps saying that it seems like I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I married him, even though he's shown me the signs. And
he said that?
And honestly, he might be right. We don't know everything there is to know about a person, even when you're married to them. It's only when you move in together and fully merge your lifestyles together that these things really come up. Oh, and I forgot to mention earlier, our intimate life has not been that great lately. We both saved ourselves for the first time for each other after we got married. Something we both wanted even before we met. But we've definitely not had a ton of makeout sessions in the backseat of my SUV. And it was really fun just getting to mess around and explore each other's bodies and interest in sweet spots. I knew our first times would be awkward. But honestly, it feels like we haven't even gotten there yet. Things usually start off fine, but once it's time to actually be intimate, his excitement fades, especially after putting on a wiener wrapper. We've tried different kinds along with other ideas, but nothing seems to work. I'm not on birth control right now. I've heard stories about it affecting hormones with my mental health issues and medications. I'm just not sure what to do next. I've just started seeing a new doctor, so hopefully we can talk about options soon. We both don't want kids, so going without protection isn't something he feels comfortable with, which I completely agree. Another part that's been hard is how his once confident take the lead side seems to have faded. I'm the type who wants to feel in the moment without overthinking, but now he often asks, so what did you want to do now? Or what are you thinking? Questions that instantly take me out of it and make it hard to feel relaxed. I end up stuck in my own head. I feel like I'm always the one having to make decisions in our life. Our schedule, our routine, what gets cleaned when and by who, what's for dinner, keeping track of how much electricity and water we use, groceries, contacting the leasing office when something needs to be fixed, and even being point of contact between him and his family and friends. To say the least, I'm exhausted would be a huge understatement. I'm just trying my hardest to be empathetic of a situation, and it just feels like I have empathy and understanding for someone else in my life and don't feel the same in return. I am taking care of 80% of things while almost none of my needs are being met. Sometimes I wonder how much longer I can keep this up. I can't work full time and deal with everything else. But with the way the economy is set up right now, it'll take so long to get to a point where I don't have to work. And with the job market right now, I'm grateful I have a job. And with all of the other random expenses coming up, my anxiety about our future is also hard to deal with. It's so unbelievably hard to keep up with two people's lives. I've also been the main one thinking of ways to make/save more money, including selling my car. We live 5 minutes from where I work, so I could walk or bike there if I need to. I love my husband so freaking much. He's so kind, funny, loving, helpful, and has been my best friend since we were 17. He's my everything. I just don't know what else to do or how to feel right now. Hopefully I'll get some different options about my situation. Would I be the a-hole for what, OP?
I mean, like, would you be the a-hole for, like, talking to him about this? Because you need to. And he needs to listen to you. It's not just, oh, well, you married me. You should have known. Yeah. He married you. He should have known you would have been upset by this behavior.
Yeah. Update. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for the input, the advice you have all given me. It really does put things into perspective. I have a very small update. I say small because it doesn't change the situation very much in the grand scheme of things, but it does change the situation for me. I've talked to my husband, let's just call him David, and he says that he's going to do better with helping me around our apartment. While he has said this time and time again, I decided to trust that he would, since he kind of knows my circumstances. I've asked him to fold the laundry that I washed, and he did, but only about 1/4 of it. The remainder of the clothes are still on the floor in bed. So I asked him to take the cardboard boxes that have been in our apartment for almost a week to the recycling, but they're still there. In my closet, he said he only put them there temporarily because my sister came over and he wanted to get them out of the way, but they're still there almost a week later. I asked him to load the dishwasher last night, and he did, but he left several dishes in the sink and on the counter. I asked him to clean the bathroom, but after he was done, the sink was still dirty and there were still products all over the counter. I didn't want to get to the point of thinking he would do this, but I'm worried that this has come to the point of weaponized incompetence. How is it possible that all of these things that I ask you to help me with are half done or done poorly? I decided to call his dad about a week and a half ago and see if this has always been a problem. Big mistake, but I was frustrated and his mom was asleep, so he was the only option at the time. I told him what I have been going through and how David hasn't been making it easier for me. Quite the opposite, actually. He said, if these are the issues that you're having 2 months into marriage, honey, you've got it easy. Things could be way worse for y'all. But guess what? People always are going to have problems.
It's not the problem Olympics. She's saying, hey, I got this problem right now.
I've responded, I understand that things could be worse, but that doesn't mean this isn't incredibly hard for me. I feel like I'm doing this all to myself. He began to tell me that since his wife/David's mom was able to stop working, they haven't cleaned a bathroom or made a meal in almost 25 years. I can't blame David for not doing or knowing how to do stuff around the house because he's never really had to do it.
That's so embarrassing.
Without thinking, I said, so I'm supposed to be the one holding up our entire lives just because his parents could afford to do it? After I said that, he snapped at me. This is not about money. Don't you ever throw my financial situation at me like that ever again. Do you understand me? I know that I shouldn't have said that or said anything without thinking about it first, but I have no idea why he would react this way. I immediately felt awful afterwards. He has used his insane amount of money to help us out of a hole once or twice, but only because David asked him, not me. I'm extremely appreciative of the help we've received from them, but because of how I grew up, I've always been reluctant to ask for help, especially with money. I need help knowing where to go after the story when it's done.
Well, you just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio.
And what do I search up?
Okay, Storytime.
And what's going to be there for me?
So many episodes.
Just like this?
Just like this.
After he snapped at me, I tried to apologize several times, but he didn't want to hear it. He then kept on about how David's ADHD makes it incredibly hard for him to make and keep up with new routines and actually see things that need to be done and actually do them. So not only has David done this, his parents has embedded this into his mind.
Yeah, they're like, you have ADHD. You can't do anything.
Oh my God.
He's
this
just my
the
poor
worst.
ADHD son. He can't do anything.
That coupled with the fact that his mom did almost everything for him means it's going to be even harder. He said that there have been times where it has taken 2 to 3 years for new habits or routines to stick. He said, I love you, kiddo. And I just gave a half-hearted I love you too back.
Like he just screamed at you and then went, I love you, kiddo. No.
And that was the end of the phone call. I genuinely cannot describe how alone I felt and still feel, knowing that any and everything I say either goes into one ear and out the other, or gets flipped around into something much worse. Makes me feel awful. It feels like I have no one to talk to about this, and I have no choice but to go through this alone. I have no idea what to do now. We can't afford couples counseling. I can't talk to his or my family in fear that they'll get the same reaction that I got from his dad.
My fiance's friends mocked my gift, so I removed them from the wedding party.
Was it a funny gift? Wait, why are we mocking gifts, though?
My girlfriend slash fiance, 32 female, and I, 33 male, have been together for 4 years. We met through common friends, and after a while of casually hanging out, we began dating and now are engaged. A tale as old as time. She has a core friend group of 4 people, including herself, 2 guys, one of whom is her cousin, and a girl, and they have been very close since childhood. By the way, this comes from user IsopodsSubstantial465. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And I'm Keon.
And we're going to see what OP has to say. When I had first met the other 3 before we had begun dating, they seemed like nice people, fun to hang out with. But when I was reintroduced to them as her boyfriend, things were different. I knew they were judging me, which is fine. I knew there would be a friends test I would have to go through, but now, 4 years later, it still feels like I'm being tested. So, for some background, my girlfriend is sweet, caring, empathetic, and sensitive. She's been hurt in past relationships, and we have spoken about it briefly. She gets upset when we talk about it, so I've never pushed her much. But from what I know, while she was never physically mistreated, they were still very toxic relationships. They may have involved emotional abuse. Considering that, I get her friends being protective. Early when we were dating and gradually became serious, her friends always found ways to, I don't know how to explain this, show me my place in her life, if that makes sense. They would whisk her away if we were together and barge into our dates. She shares everything with them, so they knew where we were going on dates. The only way I could get her to myself is if I planned a surprise getaway. But how many of those can you do? When I reached my saturation point, we talked. She has a blind side with them and never noticed what they were doing. After I pointed it out and she saw it happen the next time they did it, she called them out on it, threatened to stop talking to them. After a bit of bickering, they relented and apologized to her, but not me. Anyway, things got much better after that. Cut to recently, I know she is the one for me. I love her immensely. In my culture, we don't have the whole proposing with a ring, but I knew she has always wanted that. So I picked out a ring that belongs to my grandmother. It's part of a jewelry set. In our tradition, when we get married, the new bride is welcomed to the family with the elders presenting her with heirloom jewelry. I know my grandmother will be giving her the remaining jewelry set as a wedding present. My parents and other elders in the family will also be gifting similar things. The thing is that these sets, they're traditional. I guess what I'm trying to say is that they may be too gaudy by modern standards. My girlfriend loved the ring, even though it isn't like the more conventional engagement rings. I know all these sets she will eventually get, she won't wear, probably ever. She likes to keep her style simple. But I just thought that gold is an asset, even if she doesn't wear them. I know that's right. They're hers for any other use in life. My girlfriend knows all of this, and she never said anything about it. Cut to a week back, the trio came over when my girlfriend wasn't home. They said that I was being selfish, that under the garb of tradition, I was forcing my girlfriend to accept gifts she doesn't want. Mind you, we do have a bridal registry set up, and I know for a fact many family members, friends, and colleagues have already selected items from there. I told them that what my family gifts to my girlfriend isn't any of their business. They said that I was no different from her past partners. What is up with these friends,
They're
dude?
such haters.
Like-
It's like he flat out said you don't ever have to wear it. It just needs to sit in our home somewhere.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, imagine it's just like a rainy day and you're like, oh, we're out of money. What do we do? Well,
We
there's
have
the giant
gold.
hunk of gold Grandma gave us.
Yeah.
They also said I was being emotionally harmful and gaslighting her. My girlfriend had previously asked me to make her 2 guy friends my groomsmen. My brother is my best man, and I had agreed to make her happy. But after what they said, I told them that they were no longer my groomsmen. When my girlfriend got back, I told her what happened. While she agrees that her friends had no right to comment on the gifts my family give her, she clarified that she does not share their opinion and she does feel I went too far and overreacted by removing her friends from the wedding party.
They can stand behind her then.
She had always wanted all 3 friends to be a part of her wedding, and my rejection now means that won't happen. Am I the a-hole? I mean, honestly, dude, like, I don't know. I think maybe you should have talked about it with her instead of just, like, blowing up in the moment and saying that. Because I think it might not be a bad idea.
To what?
To take them out of the way. Like, imagine having people who just, like, constantly are haters to your fiance, like, in the bridal party at your wedding. It's like, what if they try to sabotage it?
What I don't get, too, is how she has stayed such good friends with them while still dating this guy, and how that hasn't, like, annoyed the, like, crap out of her.
Well, he did say that it was kind of a blind spot that she hadn't noticed. And then she did notice it and called them out. She does see it now, so it's like, if you would have brought this to her, she'd probably be like, oh my God, they're doing what? Now they're doing that? Like, I like the ring. Like, she liked the ring from the jewelry set, but there is an update. These past few days have been nothing short of a chaotic roller coaster. Roller coaster. So much has happened in such a short time, but before I get into everything, I want to make one thing very clear. My girlfriend and I love each other deeply. She is a genuinely good person. I know that my original post may have unintentionally portrayed her in a negative light, but the truth is, while she has been incredibly naive when it comes to her stooges and has often been easily manipulated by them, she has always stood up for me when it truly mattered. Her heart has always been in the right place. She did say that I overreacted when I exiled the guys from the wedding party, and she was disappointed that all her 3 friends wouldn't be a part of the wedding. But that wasn't her only reaction. She also agreed that her friends had no right to come into our home and insult me. They had no right to make statements on her behalf about the jewelry, especially since they were false statements. And after I changed the groomsmen to my cousin and friend, she supported the decision and did not insist that I take her friends back. After the incident, she didn't immediately reach out to the trio to talk to them about what they did. She's not a confrontational person. She is not someone who can counter-argue on the spot. So when she knows there's going to be, let's say, explosive conversation, she usually likes to write down points of what she wants to say. What she would say if XYZ was brought up at this point, blah, 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 how she would respond if they said this to defend that, yada, yada. Like, she likes being prepared, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Especially with the trio, because when such situations arise, she's usually defending me and our relationship, and it's always 3 against 1. I've tried in the past to help her, but I dislike, understatement, these guys enough that if I get involved in their conversations, it just always turns into a verbal spat, and that just makes her more stressed out. Yes, she has missed several glaring red flags when it comes to her friends, but missing red flags doesn't automatically make someone a bad person. From her point of view, these people were the backbone of her social life. They've been in her life since childhood, and she has always seen them as supportive, protecting, and caring. When you are that close to someone for that long, it can be extremely difficult to recognize toxicity. From the outside looking in, it might seem like she was being intentionally blind or refusing to accept reality, but when you're the one trapped inside that bubble, it's a lot harder to see things clearly. I had to explain this in a comment on my previous post, but because people kept repeating the same questions, I thought it best to include it here again. So, we have had open conversations about the gifts before. She also told me that she had shown her friends pictures of the jewelry and talked to them about the gifts. She never once said she didn't want them or didn't like them. They simply assumed she wouldn't like them because they were not her usual style. But as it turned out, even that assumption was not innocent. We later found out that it was just another manipulation on their part. And by the way, I'm manipulating you into listening to full episodes with stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to over 70 days. That's 1,680 hours worth of stories.
Good math.
Yeah, quick maths. I didn't even prep for that. That was all mental, baby. Don't rewind the stream at all. Don't do that.
I see a lot of people in the chat saying that one of them is in love with her. So the other 2 friends are trying to help like it look bad.
I guess that could be the case.
I could see it
very
being a
soap
thing.
opera.
That's not where I like immediately thought of it going, but I could see it maybe.
Just so
But for
cringy.
all of them to jump on that train would be a lot.
Yeah.
There are some edits here. We have indeed gone no contact with them, but haven't blocked their numbers yet. We will not be blocking their numbers until next weekend, just giving them more time to dig their own graves. After that, we'll document the messages for posterity and then block them. In due time, we're looking into sending cease and desist letters on the grounds of defamation and slander. It's only been 3 to 4 days, and a lot has happened so fast. We need some time to just think calmly about our next steps. Oh my God!
What happened?
Slander!
Whoa!
Libel and
Okay.
slander. Defamation and slander. We have shared the recording in a common friends group chat. If that finds its way to social media somehow, well, so be it. For all those claiming that this is a fake story, a creative writing exercise, all because I started the post with buckle up, all I have to say is enjoy.
Like, I'm wondering if maybe they can't say anything else if they're trying to make a case.
I
but
guess. You're like, this is actually active legal
I know. I was like, we're
testimony
about to
and
get
evidence.
so much tea so quickly, and then we got nothing.
TLDR. My girlfriend's childhood friends tried to sabotage our relationship by spreading lies, including telling at least one of her exes she had schizophrenia. They also tried to stir conflict over heirloom wedding gifts to create a wedge between us. After I confronted an ex and played a recording of his claims, my girlfriend was devastated but confronted her friends, who admitted they wanted to end up with one of them. She cut them off completely.
You guys called it.
It was accurate.
The wedding is postponed, but we are still together, starting therapy soon and planning to move forward without the toxic trio or their families.
Wow.
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 That's crazy.